One one thing too, like another concept I want to bring to the table is that like it might necessarily not be a bad thing, right? Like let's say you get some of these videos that get like 2 million views, it brings in a bunch of people, but all of a sudden now you're bringing in like the wrong people. You're bringing in the people that like follow you because you told this story about like some
Of
company's
course.
marketing, but it's like again, they're not someone who's ever going to want a TikTok or a Facebook or whatever. Like they're not going to want like an agency service. Now all of a sudden you're bringing these people into your page, into your funnel. And so that in itself, I don't think is bad. But here's where I do think it's bad. I think it's almost like I'll use the analogy like buying fake followers. And so like you see sometimes if an account goes and buys a ton of fake followers, then what happens is now when they post in the future, those posts go out to the fake followers don't engage. And instead of like having the snowball effect, it's like the opposite effect where like your initial core group doesn't engage and now the algorithm doesn't show it out even further. So now
Yeah.
it's like if you're amassing this follower base of followers who like aren't really that close and aren't really that engaged, when your next content comes up in front of them, they're less likely to engage, which sends signals to the algorithm like this post isn't that good. And I think as TikTok, the organic reach kind of goes down and down over time, I think it's going to be more reliant on your followers because kind of how like Instagram got to where like all your stuff just only goes out to the followers. And if you ever want to break through, like they have to kind of help break you through. So I think it could potentially be like a double-edged sword, right? Like it could be a good thing that some videos aren't going viral and like you're bringing in the wrong audience.
It's a great point. I think then it now comes down to the individual of like what is the life mission, right? Because
Right.
it's like, sure, it doesn't necessarily make sense for the agency model right now, but if you have plans to evolve into so many things, like amassing people that just love you as the human being,
That's a good
and being
point.
able to put that attention in different places, like for instance, like I don't want to go back to it, but the modern marketing certificate that we're dropping, like I've always been B2B. Now I
Mhm.
have the 65K. I get asked for courses, I get asked for mentorship all day. Open that up, go B2C. And so
Yep.
it's like I built up a following that probably 0.5% were business owners, therefore I could monetize. But now I open the floodgate and push it there instantly, and maybe that makes something happen. In the
Bro,
future.
I'll touch on that, and like I think you're gonna have a ton of success there. Like, because I recently did something extremely similar.
Mm,
I've always been B2B as well, right? I've always been selling like TikTok consulting services to businesses, helping them find content creators. How can they grow on the platform? And then I want to say 3 weeks ago, I had an idea. I was like, I get so many DMs from content creators asking, like, Mike, do you do coaching? Like, Mike, can you help? Like, hey, Mike, can you help? Do you guys manage creators? Can you find us a brand
yeah.
deal? And I've never really known what to do with that. I just post people to like, hey, I send out free opportunities, like go sign up for the email list, and I just always have done that. Had an idea. I was like, you know what? Like, why don't I just at least tease something? Like, hey, I'm thinking about doing a program for content creators. Like, would anyone be interested? So I just thought of this 3 days later. I kind of put the idea into motion. I think like, okay, what would I actually do here? I send out an email blast. I end up sending 2 emails, and the call to action on the emails were send me a DM if you're interested. I had almost 300 DMs from that. And I
Wow.
said I was going to take on 10 people in the program, and we sold out in 48 hours. And I was like, okay, there's something here in B2C. So yeah, I think you're going to have a ton of success with that. And kind of back to our point earlier, it's just like there's just a bigger market for that too.
100%. And I think it also takes a certain individual to be able to service that market, right? Like the agency model is so classic, but reimagining, like, okay, there's all these demands from all these different places because TikTok's showing me to everyone. What are some new nuanced products that I can build that actually like I'm an expert in that not many people are, especially given like the early infancy of TikTok and
Hmm.
trying to, exchange on those. So I think that's super fascinating. Like one of the things I'm really, 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 because I see this as a massive problem, and I'm like, if I solve this, I can sell this a million times over, is how do you come up with models to help the most regular business create content at scale, right? So how do you build just models that like any business can fit their service or product in and go against the model? And even if maybe you have 10 different buckets and maybe some businesses can only do seven of the buckets, some can do five, some can do all 10, but it can be like, okay, a series, right? Things I wish I knew before I boom, whatever your business is. Okay, that's a series. You make 10 videos a month. and you just change the topic of the series every month. There's your first framework. Your second framework, you go to the hashtag that's the biggest in your category. You go to videos that have popped off, and you go to the comments and you find 10 comments where people are asking genuine questions, and you reply video to those comments. Boom. Anyone can do that in any industry. So how do you come up with frameworks that then literally can be implemented into any business and allow them to get to those 2 posts a day, 4 posts a day with ease? I think if you can solve that problem, you can flip that a million times over.